Every NFL team has a hated player, somebody that the franchise collectively throughout generations and fan bases, different runs through things, they hate a guy. And MLF Football put out a list, and this is pretty accurate. It's going to be hard for people. Now, some rivalries I don't understand. So, like, I'm just throwing out the Texans, the Houston Texans, their most hated player. They have Ty Hilton on as their most hated player. I have no idea what play that was, what streak of games that was, what happened. But there are reoccurring themes.
The hell is Ty Hilton?
That are a part of this list. Yeah, I guess
with
it's
the Colts, right?
I guess it's one of those interdivisional.
That's so bizarre. He's like a really.
He's a wide receiver, like
nice
a third
guy from what I
for the Colts. I don't know what he's done. If there was an overtime game or something that knocked the Texans out. I have no idea. So T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton.
There you go.
T.Y. Hilton, a part of that. Now, here's a name that keeps coming up: Manning. Eli Manning, as the Patriots, they have as the most hated player.
Of course. They don't have to hate anybody, really, because they beat everybody for a long time.
They beat everybody but him twice.
That's right.
So that makes total sense. And then you see a run in the AFC East. The Miami Dolphins, they have Tom Brady. In the Bills organization, they say Patrick Mahomes. He has clearly stopped them from at least one opportunity, maybe three, from going to a Super Bowl. And then the Jets have Tom Brady. So you see what's happening there when a quarterback wreaks havoc all over your team. Now, for us here in the NFC South, the Saints, they have their most hated player, Stephon Diggs. I would have to have the infiltrator, Justin, confirm that. For the Panthers, their most hated player is Matt Ryan.
Okay.
I have to look up Matt Ryan's record against the Panthers. Has to be, it might be 2-1, the way we dominated them for most of Matt Ryan's career. That was a one team where you would find wins when you needed one for the Atlanta Falcons. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have Drew Brees. And for the Atlanta Falcons, I would have said Drew Brees, but then we know
not even close
who it is. It's Tom Brady.
It has to be. It's not even his fault. It's our fault.
So if you look at these,
he's got to be the most hated for quite a few.
He is. No, you're exactly
Tom
right.
Brady,
I mean, for the Colts, sure. For you, yes.
To make the list multiple times, several times for different teams,
right?
It's impressive. You have to be a hell of a football player. And I think I saw him on here 4 or 5 different times.
He is on there for the Jets. He is on there for the Falcons. He is on there for the Dolphins. This man has wreaked havoc. He is on there for the Colts. Yes. I'm sure that's a lot of pain. You know, the Colts, Kelly, your Colts would have had many more, at least probably one more opportunity, if not for the Patriots in their heyday stopping Peyton Manning and all of those big-time postseason showdowns.
No question. That would, if you'd asked me as growing up, a kid in my most hated, it would have been Tom Brady without question. Although the Steelers a couple times too. I mean, I didn't care for that team much at all either. So, but Tom Brady, top of the list, no question.
This is a funny one. I think this is the only one, and I haven't gone a deep dive. The only one with a guy on their team is the most hated player.
Wait. Say that again.
So the only team on here that I see. Mm-hmm. With the most hated player is on the team.
The franchise's most hated player is
on
one of their
current roster.
Okay, hold on.
He is still on the team collecting a check. He's injured.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's had some problems.
Massage issues.
Didn't he just get married, I heard?
He did get married.
Hey, good for you, Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson is on the list for the
Could you
Browns.
imagine, dude? What a nightmare.
No, what a nightmare. Right. Okay, that took me a minute, but I got there.
Now, the funny part about the AFC East is that it wasn't one quarterback. It wasn't just Tom Brady and the Patriots. It was Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes and Eli Manning for the different teams. When you look at the NFC North, Aaron Rodgers, the most hated player by the Bears fan base. Sure. Aaron Rodgers, the most hated player by the Lions fan base. Aaron Rodgers, the most hated player by the Vikings fan base. So there is a guy who wreaked havoc for a generation on some players. Matt Ryan, by the way, 18-10 versus the Carolina Panthers.
Pretty good domination there. Wish we had more of that throughout his career with other teams in the NFC South, but that was an absolute... I mean, the Panthers were just an afterthought for most of the time that we played them.
To circle back to Aaron Rodgers, if you weren't the Bears or you weren't a team that naturally just like hated him, right, because of what he did to you on the field, just as a general fan, when did you start hating him? Because for me, it was about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, when he started mouthing off.
Like, I didn't, and hate's a strong word, but I didn't dislike him as a competitor. He was up there with the Bradys and the Mannings for me and everything else because of what he brought to the field. But then it was all the off the field stuff that just made me be like, whoa.
For the majority of fans, and just the collective majority, 32 teams, your team is out of it in the postseason. So watching Aaron Rodgers in the postseason all those years, you respected him. You didn't want him to win. If you were hating on him, you still respected him as a football player. And, I mean, if he's on, I'm not turning it off because he has a big mouth, but his mouth and how he is supposed to represent himself as a quarterback and then going to a franchise like the Jets who desperately were looking for somebody to make them relevant, for him to do the things and carry on the way he did, where he made a lot of things about him. That was the turnoff for me. When he knows better, and at 40 plus, he doesn't have many more snaps left in him, you would think he would value and appreciate every single moment he had on the football field, and I don't think he did. But now he gets a chance to do it all over again with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we'll see if he'll get a chance to make some more moments in the postseason.
The infiltrator, Justin Burney, chimes in, and maybe you want to.
We have to read this
as well. 404-231-1680. You're most hated player across the NFL. For me, it became Nate Webster at one point down in Tampa Bay. That son of a bean.
Dirty.
He was the dirtiest player I've ever seen. Gouged my eyes out on the bottom of a Hail Mary pile before halftime one time. And just a kind of a nasty individual in general. Justin Burney says Mike Evans with the Saints, biggest POS cheap shot ever. Always mad because he was locked up.
There he goes.
Mike Evans has wreaked havoc on the NFC South for over a decade now. No question.
See, you come from a perspective of knowing these guys personally too, and I can. And Home Team, I think we've talked about this a little bit. When you cover players to the degree of knowing who they are off the field, it really can sway how you feel personally about some
I'm
of these
glad
guys.
you're in here, because a lot of things one thing that the listeners and fans don't know, there are things we sit on as members of the media. It would make you the bad gal or me the bad guy if we revealed how some star players really were behind the scenes, because a lot of fans don't care. They just want to see them on game day. They don't care about that stuff. But there are a lot of things that people sit on that would certainly make some people think differently about some of their favorite players. And you could find in different ways where people are not the best on non-game days.
And even things after the fact. For me, there were players I really enjoyed covering, thought they were great guys, and then I find out from like the team manager, that oh my God, he is like, well, he's so high maintenance. He's got to have the window seat when he's at this restaurant. The wife has to have the first spa day, and he's just, he's wearing me out. And I'm thinking, wow, I didn't see that side of him, But I mean, again, it doesn't make him a bad person. It just makes him somebody you didn't know.
Darren Sharper was a guy for me with the Saints. I faced off against him a lot.
He was a tough cookie.
A lot of times it's good players that do you wrong on the football field just because they're good. It was like, I think the Seattle Seahawks.
Didn't you break somebody's ass?
I did get after John Lynch a little bit.
Do you consider that a dirty play, or is that just a football play? He should have had his head on a swivel when you hit John Lynch and he wasn't looking.
It's very borderline. Very borderline.
So aggressive but not dirty is how you would call it.
So it was around the ball,
very aggressive. It was nowhere near where the football was at. It was in the middle of the field, and Vic was running out of bounds on the other sideline. So what are you going to do? But to my point, the Seattle Seahawks' most hated player. There was one play in the Super Bowl by Malcolm Butler.
Yeah.
So he's their guy because he stole a Super Bowl from him.
And you know what I like about the NFC East? There are a bunch of different names. The Giants' most hated player, Terrell Owens. The Eagles' most hated player, Michael Irvin. The Cowboys' most hated player, Joe Montana. The Commanders' most hated player, Lawrence Taylor. So that is when you have beef, when you can have different players for different teams.